thought they were remodeling until the people at the desk told me what happened.
Right now on Fox 43 Featured, smash and grab. Burglars rammed through the front of a York County grocery store this week. How locals reacted to the shocking theft. Plus, a new law in Pennsylvania soon takes effect, banning drivers from using handheld devices. Details of the more than decade-long push to make Paul Miller's Law a reality. And dozens of students getting hands-on wildfire training in Cumberland County. How the week-long course is giving the next generation of firefighters the tools they need. A smash and grab burglary at this Wise Market along Springwood Road in York Township, York County. The target of the heist, an ATM inside the grocery store. Thanks for joining us for Fox 43 Featured. I'm Robert Stover. For the next half hour, we'll be recapping some of our biggest stories of the week. York County Regional Police are still on the lookout for a suspect after an ATM theft. Fox 43's Kyle Ennis shows us the damage to the store and has reactions from shoppers.
The front door of this Wise Market in York Township is missing after police say the driver of a pickup truck backed into the building, smashing the doors and making off with an ATM. Shoppers are surprised to see what happened.
I didn't think it was mine at first, but then when they showed it, I said, oh my gosh, that's my Wise Market. I was shocked.
Unbelievable. I thought they were remodeling until the people at the desk told me what happened.
Serena Scott says the craziest part was the actual heist.
That's crazy. I couldn't believe it. Then especially when they told me the ATM machine was taken. Unbelievable.
The store didn't open until 10 Thursday morning. And a statement from Wise says 3 employees were in the store at the time. None were harmed and that the store will be doing permanent repairs to the front door over the coming weeks. A local business owner says he arrived at 7 a.m. and that the cleanup had already started and that he's not surprised by the brazen theft.
You know, it just happens nowadays. We have the news on all day long at the barbershop, so stuff like this doesn't really surprise us.
Kyle Ennis, Fox 43 News.
A 150-year-old covered bridge in Lancaster County is closed for the foreseeable future after a box truck caused damage to it. West Lampeter Township Police say after 7 on Wednesday night, the truck hit the top of the Neff's Mill Bridge. The driver was not hurt. Crews were on the scene the very next day, starting initial cleanup efforts. The structure connects West Lampeter to Strasburg Township. It's not known how long it would take to repair the bridge. A major change is coming to Pennsylvania roads. Starting June 5th, it will be illegal to use any handheld device while driving. The law is known as Paul Miller's Law. Fox 43's Tyler Poglet shows us how a new law is dialing up safety across Pennsylvania.
I don't know what caused this crash, but when I find out, I will make change.
That was Eileen Miller's first thought racing through her mind after finding out her son, Paul, was killed in a crash in 2010. She did find out, and she did make changes. Starting June 5th, Paul Miller's Law will make it illegal to hold your phone while driving in Pennsylvania. Some drivers we spoke with say they thought it already was the law.
Concerned.
Named after Paul Miller, who was killed by a distracted driver, the new law bans holding your phone to talk, text, or scroll, even when you're stopped at a light.
Do not engage in social media, scrolling, or messaging any of the above while driving. Keep your phone out of your reach. Put it in the glove box or the back seat. Just don't touch the phone. Don't text and drive.
For Miller's family and supporters, this law isn't just policy, it's personal.
The words that come out of their mouth at that moment was such a gut punch, and it changes you forever to tell you that your son was killed down on Route 33 this morning at 7:55. And he did not survive.
Talking about distracted driving is one thing, but experiencing it is another. That's why officials invited attendees up to try this driving simulator to see just how quickly one text can turn tragic.
And these accidents have real-life consequences that can result in serious injury or death.
In 2023, Pennsylvania saw more than 11,200 distracted driving crashes, 65 of them deadly. Paul Miller's Law aims to bring those numbers down by keeping phones out of drivers' hands. Despite the risk, many still pick up the phone. So we asked, what would you say to someone who still texts and drives?
To take 10 seconds to pull into a parking spot or pull off the road or put your vehicle in park so you're not driving, I mean, could save their life and other people's lives.
Tyler Poglich, Fox 43 News.
A state senator is planning to introduce another bill aimed at legalizing recreational cannabis use in Pennsylvania. Democrat Marty Flynn from Northeast PA announced the plan in a memo last week. His bill would propose a different plan for distributing tax revenue and regulation of the industry. The memo also says the bill would create an independent commission to oversee the industry. The most recent attempt at legalizing recreational marijuana use in PA was approved in the House earlier this month before being rejected in the Senate. Harrisburg Treasurer Dan Miller is considering accepting the Republican nomination in the city's mayoral race for the general election. That's thanks to enough write-in votes from Republicans during last week's primary election. Incumbent Mayor Wanda Williams narrowly held Miller off by 83 votes for the Democratic nomination. However, Miller garnered more than the 100 write-in votes needed to get the GOP nomination. No Republicans ran in May's mayoral primary. In a statement released this week, Miller thanked his supporters on the Republican side, though he says he hasn't made a decision whether to run, adding, quote, "Winning on the Republican ticket will be a difficult task. It will require a considerable amount of fundraising, volunteer effort, and increased professional strategy. Before making any decisions, I must assess community support for a full campaign," end quote. And it's a new effort by the Pennsylvania Department of State to ensure election security and transparency. Deputy Secretary of Elections Jonathan Marks hosted the risk-limiting audit of the recent primary elections. Volunteers took turns rolling dice to produce numbers that would determine which batch of random ballots would be recounted. Election leaders say this is the gold standard for election audits.
They've been recommended as a key component of election security by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, and many other experts. RLAs give us confidence that we can rely on our voting systems to provide accurate results. It's important to remember that Pennsylvania has multiple safeguards in place to ensure that our voting systems provide accurate results.
And over the next few days, teams of auditors will review and hand tally votes from those selected batches. In an effort to keep kids busy and out of trouble in Harrisburg, leaders have announced what they call a comprehensive lineup of summer programming. Mayor Wanda Williams joined City Rec and community leaders this week to talk about community outreach efforts. From free swim days to art classes and outdoor movie nights, Harrisburg officials say they have created dozens of opportunities for safe, constructive, and affordable fun this summer.
Not just offering activities, we are offering connection. We are offering hope. We are building the kind of future where every child feels safe, supported, and inspired.
Activities are already underway, like roller skating at City Island. The Music and Movie Night Summer Series gets started in June. A Lancaster County woman is looking forward to a new lease on life after arthritis treatment. Still ahead, how she's using her experience to try and help others. Firefighters across the state are training in the Michoud State Forest to fight wildfires. This comes after fire crews battled more than 1,300 acres of fires in that same forest last month. Fox 43's Matt Kleindens was in Cumberland County and shares a glimpse at the drills fire officials are teaching.
A new crop of firefighters are putting their skills to the test to help fight wildfires in Pennsylvania.
It doesn't really matter where you are. Everywhere you go, there's going to be brush fires.
On Thursday, dozens of people spent the day in the Michoud State Forest to take part in the annual Pennsylvania Wildland Fire Academy. The week-long course puts students through a variety of classes designed to show what it's like to battle wildfires.
You have structure fires where your incident is contained in a building for the most part. This is a totally different world. You are fighting something that's moving, and it takes two totally different sets of mind.
Really just comes down to standards. Having the core basics of knowing what you're doing and then going out there and implementing those skills as a team.
Throughout the week, students from across the state will be spending their time in the woods practicing skills such as digging fire containment lines. Much of the training is happening in the very forest that was on fire about a month ago.
It's just, kind of an intersection of of what we do.
Mike Kern with DCNR says the Wildland Fire Academy teaches hundreds of firefighters each year. He says some of those students from previous years were in the Michoud State Forest to help on the front lines.
We try to give people training that, if they're in an emergency, they can fall back and say, okay, last year I learned XYZ, what to do in this situation.
State officials say these drills will help firefighters protect communities across Pennsylvania.
The more people that they have at their disposal, the better chances they have of containing these fires quickly and keeping them from spreading.
Matt Kleindens, FOX43 News.
A Lancaster County grandmother is looking forward to walks along the beach this summer on her new knee. In this week's Health Smart, FOX43's Amy Lutz shows us how she didn't let her arthritis hold her back and why she's sharing her story to encourage others to avoid living in pain.
Walking down steps is something Lancaster County resident Donna Vieira wasn't able to do just 6 months ago.
It was to the point where I would go to stand up and then walk in to get a drink or to get a tool. I couldn't even straighten my knee, my leg out, I couldn't even walk on it. It hurt that bad.
The grandmother, who loves gardening and spending time at the beach in the summer, suffered in pain for more than 7 years from osteoarthritis in her knee.
I just felt like when I walked, I wasn't sure if it was going to go out. It would just be such a sharp pain. It just makes you can't stand on it, and then you can fall.
A good candidate for robotic knee replacement surgery, she went to see Dr. Eric Cutts with UPMC.
The time frame that it takes to have surgery and subsequently recover has been shortened significantly.
That's thanks in part to a robotic arm and new technology introduced over the last several years.
And that allows us to size and position and place the implants very, very precisely according to the patient's anatomy.
Donna's surgery was a success, and now, just 6 months later, she says she's not just walking, she's thriving.
I would not want to go do things last summer just because of my knee, and now I can, and that feels good. It feels like a reawakening almost.
And she hopes her story will be a reminder that arthritis doesn't have to be the end of the road. With the right care, it can be a new beginning. Experts say if you're struggling with joint pain, see your doctor right away. Early treatment really can make all the difference. With your Health Smart report, Amy Lutz, FOX43 News.
Starting this week, free menstrual products are available in 68 state parks across Pennsylvania. Leaders with the State Department of Conservation and Natural Resources made the announcement at Kings Gap Environmental Education Center in Cumberland County. It's part of $3 million secured in last year's budget to provide free menstrual products in public places like schools as well. The announcement coincided with Menstrual Hygiene Day, highlighting the importance of addressing period poverty through public policy.
We know that it doesn't break down very easily. It could take hundreds of years.
Paper or plastic might not be an option at the grocery store for much longer. How shoppers are reacting to proposed legislation involving plastic bags. A Berks County lawmaker plans to introduce legislation that would ban single-use plastic bags across the Commonwealth. FOX43's Matt Kleindens has details of the bill she wants to introduce.
A new push to get rid of plastic bags in Pennsylvania's stores.
It's not so much to be an inconvenience to us, it's to reduce waste.
Democratic State Senator Judy Schwank plans to propose a new bill that would ban single-use plastic across the Commonwealth. If passed, Pennsylvania retailers would be forbidden from giving out plastic bags at checkout and would be asked to give out paper bags instead. Schwank says the idea for the bill was first introduced to her by student activists as a way to cut down on pollution.
We know that it doesn't break down very easily. It could take hundreds of years. And if it does get ripped apart into tiny pieces, that actually gets into our water, into our soil.
When you take something away, you have to put something in its place.
Meanwhile, Lancaster Township has had a ban on single-use plastic bags for more than a year. Asefa Ayana says he's in favor of the ban, but adds that the change has been inconvenient for some township residents.
The replacement, the paper bags, they are so fragile. Before you get out of the store, the goods you buy, fall off.
Stephanie Martin says people have to pay for paper bags at grocery stores like Weis, causing many shoppers to switch to reusable bags.
You just have to remember to bring bags with you because Weis's is kind of expensive. They're like 10 cents per bag.
Despite the growing pains, Lancaster Township residents say they've adapted to the ban and that they would be in favor of further measures to cut down on plastic waste.
It's probably better for the environment and recycling.
Matt Kleinden's FOX43 News.
Gettysburg's annual tradition of playing music to honor fallen soldiers is underway. How TAPS is helping the community remember those heroes all summer long. This past Monday marked Memorial Day in Adams County, and in Adams County, Gettysburg honored fallen soldiers on one of the nation's most sacred battlefields. Fox 43's James Corrigan has the details of the ceremony, which saw a unique rendition of the song that goes hand in hand with the holiday.
A sound of mourning and memorializing as taps rang out on Memorial Day in Gettysburg on night one of the 100 Nights of Taps, where the song will ring out every night through Labor Day to honor a single soldier who died on the fields of Gettysburg in 1863. This year, that soldier is Sergeant Philip Hamlin, who died in Gettysburg at the age of 24 with the 1st Minnesota Infantry.
They probably took the toughest hits during the Battle of Gettysburg, and Sergeant Hamlin was killed on the 3rd day of the battle during Pickett's charge.
For the buglers who alternated the playing of taps, remembering the battle also meant bringing a piece of Civil War history with them.
We have an original Civil War clarion bugle. This dates from probably the early to mid 1860s. Like Lincoln said, what we say here may not be remembered, but what they did here should always be remembered.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. More than the music was the memory of the more than 23,000 Union soldiers who died in the Battle of Gettysburg, and for the men and women who gave their lives in all of the nation's conflicts. For those who have lived through their service, such as retired 3-star General Christopher Burney, Memorial Day is about his and all military families.
I think of men like my dad, and men and women who put the uniform on and don't count the cost and say, I'm going to go out there and serve. I know there's risks involved, but you and I in this country is worth it.
Remembering sacrifice through song and remembering the fallen heroes on Memorial Day and all days. James Corrigan, Fox 43 News.
Data shows 1 in 30 kids in central Pennsylvania are diagnosed with autism, and a local mom is working to open an exclusive and inclusive place with resources and support. And this week's On the Bright Side, see how you can help turn her dream into a reality.
Hajir El-Sheikh knows how difficult it can be to navigate the challenges of raising a child with autism.
We went through a lot of, trial to figure out how we can help him to thrive, not just survive.
Her son Kareem was diagnosed with autism and ADHD at just 2 years old.
He's smart, he loves art, he loves music, and he's just happy. He's a happy child.
Hey friends, my name is Kareem. Now 6 years old, Kareem remains mostly nonverbal, which she says has its challenges.
They need extensive care and support, right? So in order for you as a parent to be able to work, or sleep, or do anything, you have to have someone helping you.
So she created Kareem's mission to be that lifeline for other kids on the spectrum and their families.
We're going to provide therapy for them. We're going to help them navigate the feelings, the emotions, puberty, things that you don't think of normally because you can talk to your child. But with our kiddos, you have to approach it differently.
Her goal is to turn this space, acquired by Central Penn College in Cumberland County, into an inclusive and supportive space, complete with sensory and therapy rooms.
Jellyfish.
But says it's going to take a village.
Dinosaur.
Maya Dodson has been part of that village for nearly a decade now. Her son has ADHD, and she was so inspired by Kareem's mission, she quit her job to work with the group full-time.
Autism is one word that describes millions of stories. And here at the community center is going to be a place where all those stories come to life, where parents that have toddlers and parents who have teenagers can come together and work with each other.
The organization is trying to raise $50,000 to open its doors by December, and they need the community's help to make it happen.
We see the vision and we see how important it is from all the parents that were come to her house. I mean, breaking down in full tears because they know that this will be a safe space for them and their children.
Both women envision the center closing a current gap by providing a central hub for resources, jobs, and training for individuals with autism and for their families.
I am a firm believer when you educate, you are going to better not just the community, but the generations to come.
Kareem's mission is in need of things like padding, security cameras, and always accepts monetary donations. For more information on any of that, you can just head on over to fox43.com. As always, if you have a bright idea or something positive you'd like to share, send me an email at gmediac@fox43.com. On the bright side, I'm Gabrielle Mediac.
Fans of the famous Pennsylvania Farm Show milkshakes will have several opportunities to grab one in the coming weeks. The Pennsylvania Dairymen's Association is hosting several pop-up events at businesses across the state for June's National Dairy Month. Every treat sold during the Milkshake on the Move events will go back to charitable causes like Fill a Glass with Hope. The first stop in our area will be next Wednesday, June 4th at the state capitol in Harrisburg. We have a list of events on our website, fox43.com. And that's it for this week's featured show. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.